Alright, everyone, I want to welcome you back to the Cult of Larry Draft League. This is our Week 5 recap. I'm Dr. Geo. With me is...
P McGee.
What we're going to do is we're going to go over all the happenings from the week, cover all these matches, give you our takes on them. Then we'll take a look at some standings. We have some special games to cover in depth. You know, I don't really want to waste anyone's time, so we're just gonna get into it. But if you like this content, like, subscribe, you gotta shut up. Okay, we're into it now. um, I mean, who cares about all that plug stuff? I don't.
No. We're here for some matches. That's
Yeah.
what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, I forgot to turn the spoilers off. So you saw some of the mods already. Hooray!
It's okay.
But,
It's just our staff.
yeah,
They
so
don't
this
matter
is
as
the
much.
this is the mod matchup. We have Hysterically going up against Emo, the Delaware Dodrio going up against the Richland Raichus. Taking a look at what they brought this week. On Delaware's side, we have Don Fan, Mind Chow, Adino, Raikou, Mega Scissor, and Mandibuzz.
And then on MO's side, we've got the Zapdos, the Persian, the Mamoswine, one of my favorite Mega Scizor counters, the Rapidash, the Mega Mawile, and the Araquanid.
I kind of really like the Araquanid combo with like the 80 speed tiers like Mamoswine. You get the webs
Oh,
up, all of a sudden you're outspeeding a ton of things.
I mean, literally, with this matchup, if you can shut down Mega Scizor and you can with that Rapidash, Mamoswine gets to button click pretty freely with webs on the field. There's not really a switch into that. So if Emma is able to enable
Really good.
that, obviously, then it's very, very deadly. But on the other side, the Raikou is also really free to exploit here since Mamo is not a switch into it, and nothing else likes the Thunderbolt Volt Switch spam.
No, it's really tough. I think that alone's probably enough to pressure Mo out. Yeah, it probably
Definitely a
looks like
contributing factor.
that, and then maybe Mind Chow is able to clean, or Raikou is able to clean. One of the two did.
Mind Shadow does that job super well, and I think Hysterically is really getting into the vibing with that Mon. I've noticed it's been a couple of weeks now where it's had some good closeouts. Just because, I mean, in this matchup alone, if you take care of Zapdos to deal with potential static problems, then
Mind
you're
Chow's
pretty much close
free
combat.
click button. It's
Yeah.
like, you gotta worry a little bit about the Rapidash, but you're probably taking it down with you at a bare minimum.
Oh, absolutely. So, no surprise to see what Mon shined. Emo got some okay work out of the Mega Mawile. You can see why it was able to KO Audino and Scizor. Mega Mawile in front of an Audino basically guarantees Mega Mawile a kill since there's no switch out there.
Yeah.
Because you got Fire Fang for the Mega Scizor. So, well done by both teams. Hysterically's done a good job of bouncing back his season to get back, I think, to 3-2 now.
I think he's 3-2. We'll see for sure when we get to it. Next we have Big Balls Curator, coached by The Rock, going up against the New York Yamask, coached by Jordan. This is not our featured, right?
This is not our featured.
Oh yeah, no, I remember now. So on Rock's side, we got the Mega Deontay, Dragonite, Bronzong, Spectre, Zapdos, Scalar, and Rotom Wash.
And then on Jordan's side, we've got the Weavile, I believe that is a Mega Altaria, Pyukumuku, the Manaphy, the Jirachi, Ursaluna.
I think it
There's
is
just-
Mega Altaria. I
Yeah.
think it like so. This is one of the things with Poribot. The Mon goes down before it Mega evolves. It doesn't necessarily know it's a Mega, and this kind of gives away the result.
Yeah.
And it's just a 3-0. And I think, yeah, Mega
I mean, there's
Deontay
no-
with 3 kills. There's just not anything really here other than the Jirachi that can kill it.
And if it's not a Wish Jirachi, that eventually gets whittled down because you click Moonblast pretty freely against everything else. So Jirachi keeps coming into Moonblast. Maybe it gets caught by an Earth Power at some point. You switch out to Rotom Wash pretty freely in front of Jirachi, and then you just Volt spam right back into the DNC and you go again and again. And so, unsurprising to see Diancie shine like it did in this matchup here. And, Rock was able to
Yeah.
get a pretty solid win.
I think the match ended on like some recoil damage for Ursaluna or something. I don't remember because like there's only 5 KOs for the Rock.
I think you get double edged Maybe the yeah, actually I recall that the Zapdos did not. Just to speak to Ursaluna's bulk, the Zapdos was unable to KO the Ursaluna with a close combat, and so Ursaluna double-edged back, and they both went down, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that sounds right. This is our featured match.
This is our featured match.
We
and
will look at it later. Next we have the Hopes Peak Deoxys, coached by Josh, going up against the Arizona Absols, coached by Robopup. Here we have on Josh's side Zarude, Kyurem, Slowbro, Mega Aggron, Aromatisse, and Rotom Heat.
And then on Robopup side, we've got the Hydreigon, the Necrozma, the Mega Lopunny, the Togekiss, the Lycanroc Dusk, and the Heatran.
Looking at this right now, this is like hard for the Mega Aggron. Like everyone's able to chunk him. Like maybe Lycanroc Dusk is the best way to get it on the field. Like I feel like it's a good match for it to come in. Its rocks up and do its best to just trade its HP for HP off of them, you know, whether that be Earthquake or Heavy Slams or just spreading some status, like whatever that
smack
may
everything
be.
pretty hard. I mean, Heavy Slam smacks the Necrozma, Earthquake gets the Heatran and the Lycanroc, or or what was the other one? Body Press maybe for like the Lopunny or the Hydreigon. Like it's able to put out some damage.
Yeah, but
it doesn't
you are
want to be
trading,
well.
so like you want Mega Aggron in early this match. Like I would almost even lead Mega Ag and just hope the Heatran isn't coming in. It can hold up, I should say, a little bit better everything else. But then you look and like Kyurem's got some good matchups if Necrozma can get chunked.
Absolutely.
Like Megalop's a little scary, but you've got the Slowbro, so you don't necessarily care. You gotta watch out for U-turns into Hydreigon for Slowbro. But like it's very momentum based for Robopup and Josh this game, so they both got some good outs. Aromatisse,
yeah, I think Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say I think Aromatisse is a little tied into Hydreigon's fate, and like my biggest worry if I were in Josh's side is like the Necrozma getting a little out of control, because Heat Wave at like +2 probably KOs Zarude unless it's some bulky set. It's a little spooky.
Yeah, and I just see Joshua having a hard time getting on offense because he has so much work to do to keep all these pieces in check, and I feel like Heatran's causing you to run into Slowbro or Rotom a lot. Lycanroc keeps forcing you into Slowbro. Megalop forces you into Slowbro. It's hard to get on offensive mode when you're just trying to defensively check so many things. And Zarude has a hard time popping off in a matchup against Togekiss.
Yeah,
so
it just has nothing.
yeah, you're kind of relying on the
worthwhile.
Kyurem to take off, and if Kyurem can't break Necrozma in case Necrozma's bulky, then you really have a hard time pushing through.
Yeah, but that's the case. Megalop takes 4 kills, you know.
Yeah.
Just probably pivots in until you can really click close combat.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the Slowbro status on a timer, and Aromatisse can't get the field safely to Heal Bell that, or it doesn't pack Heal Bell that week, then Lopunny eventually starts to push through, especially if it's not Rocky Helmet, bro.
Yeah. Alright, so coming up next, I think this is a rivalry match as they describe it, but
yes.
you have the Midwestern Moltres going up against the St. Louis Charizard, coached by Pro Shuriken and Zardace themselves. Let's see, on the Moltres side, we have Tapu Fini, Zygarde, Mega Beedrill, Groudon, Artana, and Cinderace.
And then on Zardace's side, we've got the Piloswine, the Skarmory, the Rillaboom, the Dracopult, the Blastoise, and the Mega Medicham.
This
Mega Medicham really should... Piloswine's fun. Mega Medicham should pop.
I'm gonna say, Zardace is getting some mileage out of this Piloswine.
And it keeps finding good matchups because Zygarde's a really great matchup for it to show up because you have Icicle Spear to just push right through subs. Earthquake is pretty hard for... Earthquake is actually entirely free in this matchup. It's doing neutral damage every time. So Piloswine gets clicked out super freely. It gets Rocks up, which, you know, disables Mega Beedrill to a degree.
Yeah, Rocks, and then Skarm only has to run Spikes, like Rocks and Spikes, like, whew. Damage
you just gotta be a little cautious of the Cinderace maybe court changing, because that's kind of scary, but he is Zardace definitely has a pretty good matchup here. Beedrill literally has no way to push through a Skarmory. Zygarde's struggling with the Piloswine. Feeney isn't having an easy time with the Rillaboom or the Blastoise, and then every time Mega Medicham sees the field in front of something like Zygarde, Crawdaunt, or Feeney, it should get a KO. So this is in Zardace's favor, but if I recall correctly, the match does not actually go that way.
3 kills for Cinder. I'm gonna guess it's something like a Sucker Punch that took out the Pult.
It is. It was a Specs pull late game, or at least a choice locked pull, and then everything else was weak enough to be KO'd by Cinderace attack, so Pult couldn't revenge kill, and nothing else could really stop the Cinderace cleanup.
It's really well done.
Yeah. I mean, Cinderace has a really free matchup at that point once you get rid of the Blastoise, because then Pyro Ball is just...
It chunks everything.
Yeah, Dracopult only gets one switch in on that, and Dracopult can't attack after being hit by a Pyro Ball because the Sucker Punch will do enough damage, so unsurprising to see Cinderace.
Yeah, and Piloswine, if by the time a Cinderace comes in like that, it's already probably been chunked, so it can't switch into a Pyro Ball, so you're forced to sack something else to get it in. So I'd imagine with EVLA and the thick fat, it's probably only like 40% damage.
Oh, it may only be like 30 something
percent,
it may depending on the bulk investment.
But you're switching it a few times. It's tough. Well done for Shuriken. Well done. Alright, next we have Sunset Solrox, coached by Tides, going up against the Denton Zoroark, coached by Spirit Union. Take a look. On Tide's side, we have the Dodrio, Tapu Koko, Mesprit, Mega Garchomp, Decidueye, Fortress.
And then on Spirit's side, we've got the Mega Gallade, the Vaporeon, the Enamorus, the Greninja, the Landorus Therian, and the Superior. Actually, a really good matchup for this Dodrio, to be honest. I mean, Brave Bird is super free. There is no resist. If Vaporeon gets chipped down too much, it can't handle the Brave Bird spam. So, as weird of a bring as Dodrio is normally in draft, it actually makes so much sense in this battle, and especially with what showed up.
And Tides was able to do an AV Fortress this week. Shut down the Superior.
Oh, that's pretty good actually.
Yeah, when he first switched it in and it did like 8% on the Leaf Storm or something, I was like, that ain't right. Thing has like 60 Spadef.
Even despite being a quad resist, that should still do a decent little bit to Fortress. So yeah, unsurprising.
Yeah, so Tides was able to take this 4-0. It just got into a place where Chomp was able to set up. I think the Namorous was able to get chunked a little bit early, and Koko was able to take it down. Pretty sure.
Yep. And but that,
Dodrio broke early.
Yeah, Dodrio did some good breaking early on. And then with that, our final undefeated team and Initiate does go down, so Spirit suffers his first loss of the season.
Let's take a look at the last match of the week for this. We have the District Armanitans going up against the Team Nuclear Warfare, Iris and Tox respectively. Let's take a look. Iris has the Mega Swampert, Tangela, Pelipper, Scrafty, Dracovish, and Celesteela.
And then on Tox's side, we've got the Ditto, the Blissey, the Salazzle, the Mega Sableye, the Toxapex, and the Clefable. Actually decent members to shut down offensive rain. Pex can keep Dracovish really strongly in check. Mega Sableye can stop the Earthquake spam, or can at least manage the Earthquake spam from Mega Swampert to keep Mega Swampert from overpowering as well. So in theory, Tox should be able to.
You just gotta be able to get those statuses spread first. You can spread some Toxics and just keep them.
Or get a T-Spikes down with Toxapex or something like that. If you start putting things on timers, and this gets out of hand really quickly for Iris, but that's not what happened. The exact opposite happened. Ultimately, I think Tox hasn't been able to synergize with how he's playing his stall. He drafted a stall team. He's not playing it like a stall team, and so I think he's running into synergy issues because he let pieces get whittled down, taking attacks from mons they shouldn't be taking attacks from. I think Sableye was taking attacks from Steela and Dracovish even when it shouldn't be taking hits from either of those. Toxapex really only should be taking attacks from Dracovish, not Mega Swampert. So pieces were just getting whittled down by attacks they shouldn't be eating. And then Iris was able to create a hole, and once with stall, it's a
Once
steamroll effect. Once
one thing goes down,
exactly,
then you get whatever that was walling out. So if like the Pex goes down, the Stela, then you're like, all right, I just need to get Vision. Like I can almost hard switch to Pelipper, and if you kill it, great. That's
yeah.
free switch for Draco Vision. Like everything dies. Like I've got 4 turns of rain, so 4 things will die. Cool.
Actually, and a pretty baller bring by Iris to bring the Tangela, because that helps to prevent counter sweeps from Ditto from ever being a threat, because Ditto copying a Mega Swampert or a Dracovish means nothing, because the Tangela just sits in front of that
You
all
only need
day.
it to live 5 turns.
And it can do that. You click Leech Seed or Giga Drain or Knockoff or something, and you just stall those mons out. So
Yeah,
Tangela is a
that was
good.
really nice by Iris. I never thought of it
Yeah.
like that, but yeah, that's a good point.
It keeps your, because I mean, there's no way otherwise Iris can handle a counter Dracovish coming in and clicking Vicious Rend with a Scarf and going a little faster. So good play on their part. And then, like I said, Tox lost him on early. I think it was the Toxapex, and the game just derailed from there.
Right. All right, let's jump into our featured match of the week. This is between Jeg and Soul. Well, we're gonna take a look at this before we look at standings. So on Jeg's side, we have the Urshifu single strike, Mew, regular Rotom, best Rotom if you Nidoqueen, Turtonator, and Scizor.
And then on Soul's side, we've got the Garchomp, the Infernape, the Milotic, the Drapion, the Comfey, and the Corviknight.
All right, we're gonna do normal speed. 3,
Yep.
2, 1, go. All right, lead Nidoqueen, Infernape. Love to see it. Cool. I'm so happy Jeg's not scared out, and what a nice little predict.
So with the burn here doing 47%, if I'm Jeg, I just keep clicking Thunderbolt this whole time, because you're eventually going to either crit it or get high enough roll. So I actually wish he hadn't switched out there. I wish he would have just kept Thunderbolting, because the Milotic can't recover stall that because of the little bits of chips it's eating from burn. So I think that was a missed opportunity early game to confirm a KO.
Or at least just force it out into the Chomp.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was ultimately his thing. Is like he was like, all right, he's gonna obviously switch into Chomp here. I don't want to catch it, but then you would think you see the Ice Beam. But now, now you play the game, but like Rotom can take maybe not that much. It's not a real Rotom. I forgot it has no bulk.
No, it has no bulk. Useful little Shadow Ball there. I think it's gonna go for a Volt Switch here to create some momentum into, I think, the Nidoqueen again. And then I think Nidoqueen clicks the Thunderbolt here, like it should have been earlier. So he gets the same effect. It just costs him 10 turns, which ends up costing him most of Rotom's health, which is, I think, the real impact here is Rotom's lost its ability to maybe be a one-time switch into Garchomp or something like that.
That was a weird double there, but I suppose they suspected Nidoqueen to switch, but like...
Well, actually,
Nidoqueen's run Shuka a lot, so...
And I think that's what he confirmed here. I think that's what Soul was scouting for, is this Shuka Nidoqueen, does it stay in or does it run away? And because it stayed in, he was able to see, oh, that's Shuka. So I don't want to sack my Garchomp. But problem is he doesn't really have a switch into the Nidoqueen, so Nidoqueen just more or less gets another KO.
Yeah, especially since Product went down, but...
Love the Turt bring. Turt's one of those mods you don't really see in draft very often because it takes a very important dragon typing. It doesn't really offer all that much. Typing. Yeah, so it has some spin control, but that's really all Turt does. So cool for it to show up here and actually get a KO. Misses the Draco, which is a little rough. Decides to preserve it. Actually meaningful. We'll come back to that in a little bit.
Yeah,
not stacking the Turt there. Good U-turn spam going from the Scizor into the Urshifu, who can also U-turn spam pretty freely.
Just keep doing it. Switch.
Scizor doesn't care about that. Scizor U-turns into the Urshifu again, who I believe is either a U-turn into the KO. Again. And then here we go into the really big turn. Mew's going for this nasty plot to try to clean out, but leftovers with Leech Seed Stall with Draining Kiss is just outpacing the T-Bolt damage from Mew, because I'm guessing this is maybe Bolt Beam Mew or something like that. It doesn't have the Psychic attack.
That's what I figured.
Because Psychic is free to click there if he has it. That would be his best move to click. So I'm assuming he just doesn't have it. Good switching on the Scizor to force out the Comfey. And then Bullet Punch, I guess, is okay. I would have U-turned here as the Scizor just to get something else in freely, but it doesn't look like he actually has the speed.
No. Nothing here is faster than it.
No.
So, but like, look at this. We start making some progress. The issue is we're running out of Life Orbs health.
It's surprisingly not Sucker Punch Urshifu. Although I guess I could see that with what showed up. You don't really have a lot of utility for Sucker Punch except for maybe this Garchomp. But Garchomp does an insane amount of work. It gets 5 KOs and turns this in from, what was that, looking like a 6-0 loss into just a 1-0 loss.
And
so
that not sacking the Turtonator actually
paid off.
Won
him the game.
Super crucial. Like, he wasn't, as it turns out, you weren't just holding off to save Diff. Like, you're holding off to win the game.
And I think this is what he will.
Extra sack.
We see this a lot in some of the lower divs across the draft community. Is players will just, oh, this mod's no longer doing anything. I'll just sack it, I guess, because I don't know what else to do. When sometimes preserving a piece against a passive mon in front of you is really worthwhile because it gives you a utility sack later in the game, and so that made the difference here. That was the difference between Jag winning and losing this game, was deciding not to sack the Turtonator for no reason when he had a safe switch in with, like, I think the Scizor at the time. So really good work from Jag to preserve pieces and be able to get them as even just a utility sack late game to get the little bit more of Life Orb chip on the Garchomp so that it actually died and he could win with Nidoqueen.
Yeah, it was really, really well done.
Yeah, so good game, guys. That was actually a very fun a match that looked out of hand and then turned into a real nail biter.
Alright, so let's take a look at their standings right now. So, you know, we still have Spirit Union. Now Gradual is like overtaking the top here, so there are your 4-1 teams. Then we have a ton of teams at 3-2.
Holy moly, yeah.
Like where we're down to 8. Where Jag and Hysterically are even tied in differential, and I mean, I'd have to go through and check the head-to-head stuff later on, and you know, and other tiebreakers. So it may not really be, you know, 7 and 8. Hysterically maybe 7. I don't know.
It's a tight race though.
Yeah. And then like no one's really out of it. Even the 1-win teams can, like, they're only 2 wins behind. 2 games behind, and if you play one of these people that are 3 wins right now, you know, there's your ticket. Like, that's an easy way to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, they are at the cusp of being in trouble here, but they still definitely have some control over the rest of the season, especially when you look at the border. Like, the cutoff right now is 0 differential, so as long as you can get some good wins of like 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 wins in your coming weeks to get your diff fixed, then you're in business.
Should be set. Taking a look at the kill leaders. As you'll see and keep seeing, Garchomp up at top with 13 KOs. Picked up 5 KOs and a loss, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nihilego and Hydreigon are also chilling up there. I love seeing Hydreigon up there, and Nihilego. You don't normally see Nihilego.
No, I think it's got a couple of sweeping games going on, and that's really been the difference with Nihilego. If you're able to take off with those kind of matchups, and obviously it's going to climb the leaderboard.
Mind Xiao at 9 kills, 0 deaths. That's pretty cool. Everything else is just kind of normal. Reuniclus is finally out of top 10 because Gengar happens to be earlier in the alphabet than Reuniclus, so it's 6-0. You know, to take precedence there. So that's cool.
Yeah. And
it's come to more than 1 game, so you know, good on Gengar.
Also relevant.
Yeah. So that's really nice.
Yeah, and not too crazy of a top leaderboard. Dragons and Fightings, unsurprisingly, tend to dominate the leaderboards, and that's more or less what we're seeing.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to pop now into Gary.
Gary.
Okay, so we're going to start it off with the match between the LA Nido Kings, coached by Black 117, going up against the St. Louis Shrimish, coached by the Helix Fossil. Take a look. Here on the Nido Kings side, we have the Mega Aerodactyl, the Suicune, Rotom Heat, Nidoqueen, Mew, and Hydreigon.
And then on Helix's side, we got the Registeel, the Buzzwole, the Aromatisse, the Mega Gallade, the Torn T, and the Hoodra. Hoodra. So Helix has a lot of
bulk here.
But he's so reliant on this Registeel to stay alive, because if this Registeel goes down, Aerodactyl gets a KO for free every time it sees the field. Like, there's nothing he can do to stop that, because Scarf Buzzwole can't actually catch Aerodactyl's speed if Aerodactyl's scouting for that and running enough speed. Gallade gets OHKO'd by Dual Wing Beat. Torn gets OHKO'd by Stone Edge. Goodra probably gets smacked pretty hard by Earthquake. So
yeah,
if Registeel goes down, this game is just out of hand. So really, you can see that the Registeel goes down. And surprisingly, it's not the Aerodactyl that takes off. I think the Rotom Heat actually is a Nasty Plot set. And I think the Gallade went down at some point in the game, which enabled Nasty Plot to take off.
That's tough. That's really tough.
But good work by Black. I mean, he is still undefeated. I think he is one of two undefeated coaches.
No, he's the last undefeated coach in Gary.
No, I'm talking across all three divisions.
Oh,
he's one of two. Yeah. So he's been showing all season why he's a really strong coach. He's just found lots of different ways to win. And good on him.
All right, coming up next, we're going to take a look here at the Waikato Chestnuts, coached by Liger, going up against the Adorable Audinos, coached by Frandy. Let's see what they brought. We have the Landorus, Colossal, Mega Scizor, Primarina, Komodo, and Leafeon.
And then on Frandy's side, we've got the Lycanroc Dusk, the Superior, the Mega Mawile, the Zapdos, the Chandelure, and the Slowbro. I actually don't remember this match. I thought Frandy actually had the Como, but that was a different match.
I think this was the match of sub Mega Mawile, unless I'm off by a week. Because if you, sub up and you're kind of just free to click buttons, you need a little bit. You need a little bit of RNG so Cole doesn't like burn you.
I think that's ultimately the difference maker here, is that that sub play happens and Cole isn't able to get the flame body, and that makes the difference.
Yeah, look at that, 5 KOs for Mega Mawile. I think I remember vaguely in the chat saying like RNG was in your favor, and then RNG really didn't matter much. Typical post-match spoiler chat. I could be making it up. The game happened almost a week ago. It was an earlier match, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, Mega Mawile, especially behind a sub, just starts collecting KOs. Leafeon doesn't really wall it super well. I mean, you got some Leech Seed stall stuff you can do.
But you already have Fire Fang for Mega Scizor.
Exactly. So Leafeon's eating that damage as well. And I think it might have even gotten a burn on the Leafeon in the match, if I remember, or something wild happened with the Fire Fang.
I think you're right. It's like, of course it does.
Yeah. So good work for someone to find use out of this garbage Pokemon. It doesn't go in the trash this week in Gary Division, I guess.
I guess.
All
right, next is our featured match. So our featured match is Tennessee Type Nulls, coached by Zeke, and Tentacruel Pirates, coached by TJS. So we're just gonna move on past.
We'll be back for that.
Yes. Next we have the Dallas High Horsepower, coached by Shark Finnegan, going up against the Chelsea Chestnuts, coached by Waka. So let's see what they brought. On Shark's side, this is after Shark made some changes, or maybe he had the changes for last week.
No, this is after he's got destroyed, I think 3 weeks in a row by physical flying. He's like, I need an answer to that, so he got Celesteela.
That is definitely an answer for it. We're gonna fix the Shifu real quick, ladies and gents. So up here, you're gonna watch it change right before your very. Bam!
There it goes.
Amazing! Wow. Okay, so it's a tough match here for Shark though, because like yeah, he doesn't have to worry about physical flying this time, but there's plenty of Sella answers.
He has a hard time getting on offense here because Raikou doesn't have anything to really break through the Slowking. Celesteela's best set is probably some kind of leech seed stall, just because it doesn't have an easy way through the Rotom. Maybe a special set with like Meteor Beam Automize can do well. Meteor Beam, Air Slash, Giga Drain.
Do you think Tail Glow Manaphy can get through the Audino?
Yes.
It can't
but
get through Rillaboom though.
No,
But
so
maybe
again,
not even
he's
AV Glow King.
so really what Shark needs is Waka to give him free setup turns for something to take off here. So Manaphy getting a Tail Glow, because if he just insta goes to Rillaboom or even maybe Slowking, Manaphy doesn't have an easy time setting up. If he doesn't give Raikou free attacks on things not Slowking, then Raikou doesn't really pressure.
This wasn't
So just really,
This wasn't the Charge Beam Raikou match, was it?
I don't think.
I think
so.
it was, because it happened on the Glow King and he got the boost, but it was just like he brought that out really early, and I was watching it and I was like, this. I thought it was like fine creativity to like way to get boost because like sub Charge Beam, and I was like, oh, I can dig that, but it was like
you don't
turn
need much
5.
coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like turn 5, and I was like, oh. Okay, maybe Calm Mind was the play. And yeah, you can kind of just see Rillaboom takes over. Celesteela must go down relatively early for Rillaboom to take over like this.
Yeah.
Or even if it doesn't, like if it's a offensive Celesteela, because I don't remember what the set was. Like if it's an offensive, like knockoffs or lariats from Rillaboom still do like 40% if it's so hard to
absolutely.
switch in. It's not a free switch in.
Yeah, just a really tough matchup for Shark. He just doesn't have the right offensive pieces to break through some of this.
Sylveon's like your only Urshifu switch in, and like doesn't feel great. Just U-turns into Glow King. Ugh, it's hard. You have Side Shock for Glow King, but like if you get too much chip, then Mega Deontay can always come in too, and especially it's really hard. It's just a hard match.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Shark, but good for Waka.
Alright, next we have the Moody Marshadow, coached by Bloop, going up against the Arkham City Delibirds, coached by A12.
Bloop. Still love that name.
Yeah, I do too. I love his logo, man. It's so cool. Alright, let's take a look here. We have the Sneasler coming for Bloop, Skarmory, Zygarde, Vikavolt, Tapu Fini, and Dino. I'll fix the Fini.
Yep. And then on A12 side, we got the Mega Wizard, the Jirachi, the Crobat, the Diggersby, the Gliscor, and the Grimmsnarl. So there are 2 strong counters to Sneasler in this matchup, which is just really hard on the Sneasler. The Crobat can essentially wall it all day, and the Gliscor absolutely walls it. And looking at this,
to get triple axle, then at least it's got some.
Then there's something. But really, this matchup is. There is one Pokemon on Bloop's side to be able to break the Gliscor into the Fini. So if the Fini goes down early or is unable to get the turns it needs to hit the Gliscor, then that more or less walls out the rest of his offense. Zygarde's not really breaking it, especially if it's an Ice Fang, and I believe it was Ice Fang.
Probably can.
Actually, you're right. That's what shows up. No, it's Bug Buzz. Bug Buzz Vikavolt.
What was it, Specs?
No, it's just trying to catch. It's slow though, so it catches Gliscor on the roost turns where it loses the flying typing, so it ends up being a neutral attack that does like 60. And that's what it comes down to. So I think what ends up happening, that you can go to the next section of this matchup. What ends up happening is the Gliscor gets to that stage where it just walls out. So it doesn't really get the KOs. Diggersby gets the KOs, but really what this match came down to was the Fini goes down, and then there's just nothing to push through the Gliscor. And Vikavolt loses all its PP trying to break the Gliscor. Zygarde doesn't have the moves for it because it's an Ice Fang set. I think he has Taunt or something for Skarmory or Defog, and so Skarmory can't Hazard Stack, and I think it only has like Brave Bird or something, so it's eating Recoil, and Gliscor gets its health back with.
That's too
so
tough. It got to be able to do like
was
64% or whatever to break Gliscor.
So that's what Vikavolt was doing with Bug Buzz. It would get to that 64%, but it ran out of PP by that point because just it wasn't getting enough 64% turns, and Gliscor can roost stall on that with the toxic healing as well, and then so Vikavolt just ran out of Bug Buzzes, and then that was really the last option he had.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. What kind of move?
Yep.
All right. Taking a look here, we have the Sacramento Kingdras, coached by Oren Latios, and we got the Columbus Chandelures, coached by HJJ No. Let's get into what we got. We have the Terrakion, Corviknight, the Garchomp, Alolan Muck, Mega Altaria, and Tangrowth.
And then on HJJ No's side, we've got the Tapu Koko, the Mega Meta, the Crustle, the Mandibuzz, and the Blissey. I believe Orin is the one that's been bringing offensive Tangrowth a few times now this season.
He has.
And
he
does
may have done
show
it
up a little bit. Yeah.
I actually like the Tangrowth. Like, even defensively, it's probably pretty good against Mega Metachamp. I mean, you have the Corviknight, so it isn't as necessary to... like, the Corviknight Tangrowth really kind of opens up Tangrowth to be offensive. They're kind of switching in on, like, the same things in a weird way.
Surprising Terrakion doesn't pop off more in this match. I don't remember what type the Silvally was, but there's not really a switch in for Terrakion as far as I can see. Stab hits pretty much everything except for the Mega Metachamp, which has no bulk for at least neutral damage. So really expected Terrakion to be the shiny piece here, but he's been really using that Tangrowth effectively all season, and it continues to show in this match as well.
It's really, really well. The Coco's a little scary, but like, this is Pursuit Muck time, so like, you just need to get its status and like
exactly because
on a timer.
Because Coco can't stay in front of Muck, and so you just get free pursuits on it all the time. And eventually you get the status, and then Coco just has nothing.
It's tough. Okay, let's see. Last but not least, we have the Seattle Sigilifts, coached by Dashing, going up against the Phoenix Solgaleos, coached by Didi. Dashing side, we have the Victini, the Garbodor, Keldeo, Enamorus, Mega Garchomp, and Aegislash.
And then on DD's side, we've got the Megalop, the Kyurem, the Clefable, the Rapidash. Man, a lot of Rapidash play this week. The Thundurus, and the Melmetal. There's really not an answer on DD's side to Enamorus. That it just clicks buttons pretty freely every time it sees the field.
It's got Earth Power, right?
Yeah, so basically, if Melmetal's AV, you can get it on Predict. You can hard switch it on obvious Moonblast or Sludge Bombs to force Enamorus out a couple of times, but there comes a point where Enamorus just breaks through, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the dominating piece for this matchup. But
it's really hard to switch.
No, it's not. It's the Garchomp that got the sweep going.
Well, at least for the sweep, Enamorus could have broken some things like left before it even got to that point, or Victini could have. It's
actually
probably... Go ahead.
It may have been the case that Enamorus got a Sludge Bomb off on the Clef, but it didn't KO, and the Clef may have KO'd back, but then it weakened the Clef to such a degree that the Garchomp could come in and start cleaning house, something like that. So unsurprising that Garchomp could sweep in this matchup. Garchomp obviously has a really easy time after a skill shot of just kind of blasting through everything with Clef out of the way.
Yeah, it just happens. Okay, let's pop into our featured match for the week. This is between Zeke and TJS. So on Zeke's side, we have the Type Null. We have the Hisuian Zoroark, Zeraora. This is a Mega Absol, Landorus T, and Forges.
And then on DJS's side, we've got the Dracopult, the Deoxys Defense, the Alolan Persian, which is actually a pretty solid bring for something like the Hisuian Zoroark, which Zeke has made a point of trying to do well with this season. The Togekiss, the Infernape, and the Blastoise round out the team.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty cool matchup here. So let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. So we see the lead, Alolan Persian, and cool. Since the Mega evolved, it is real.
Yep.
And then foul play does 50% resistive. Whoo! What a move, foul
Because
play, man.
so Mega Absol got 0 boost to any of its defensive stats, and it has bad defensive stats to start with. The thing Mega Absol gets is actually a huge boost to its special attack and special attack. That's the forgotten boost it gets.
Yeah.
So it actually has like a 120 special attack or something. Pretty gross.
Yeah, like it runs mix sets very effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fire Blast and stuff.
Well, I think it might be the case here. It's like an Ice Beam Mega Absol. Maybe not. I can't remember what the last one move was.
It's
Might have been a
a
different week
dead
he brought
Mega
that.
Absol.
It's a dead Mega Absol. I thought there was a week I believe he brought Ice Beam for it. Maybe I'm misremembering the set a little bit.
Alright, Zeraora and it's Plasma Fist, so it's real Zeraora. You know it's a fake Zeraora when the Shadow Ball comes out. Knocking off the Culver Berry is pretty nice here, at least for later on.
The status on this is actually really huge. So I respect the play by the Landorus to stack itself to status the Deoxys defense, because that means Deoxys defense doesn't wall out Zeraora.
And
so here's the big turn 15 is the really big mistake I think by DJS, is he doesn't respect the potential for Scarf Shadow Ball on the Zeraora, and that not the Zeraora, the Zoroark, and because of that he loses his best offensive piece, which was the Dragapult.
And that makes the rest of the match really hard, because now you're dependent upon, like, if you have pieces are just going down now. Because I feel like if you have a Dragapult and you have the Infernape, you don't necessarily need like this to be scarfed, and it's obviously not. But if you are running, oh no, this one's Ghost and normal, so yeah, Vacuum Wave don't do all that much. I forgot, normal Zoroark, you kill it there, but like not this one.
Zoroark does a really good job here. Zoroark only gets 2 KOs on the match, but it did a lot of work. Actually, does it get 3 KOs? It gets 3 KOs. Never mind. Zoroark really did shine. I got 3 KOs in that match. Broke Blastoise to the point of being able to win with the Zeraora. And then again, this is where the Toxic mattered, because if this isn't a status, this Deoxys, and the Deoxys wins.
Yeah, the Deoxys gets to stall through all these moves. Well, we don't see what the last 2 moves are. So
I'm gonna guess some kind of stat or some hazard moves and probably teleport. So probably like Stealth Rock or Spike.
Yeah, but without the Toxic, you're able to heal up enough that you get the occasional Ice Beams off, and you should win.
You should. Unless
could like crit, and maybe. So. Alright, really well
Either way,
done. Like to
good work from
pull that back to a 1-0 after losing Dragapult like that. So really well done.
Yep.
Next, we're gonna pop into our standings list here. Here we have the LA Nido Kings still at top, our last undefeated team in Gary. And you know, a couple 4-1 teams between Zeke and Frandy, and then it's another gluttonous list of 3-2 all the way between Waka and Oreos. So pretty tight around there too. Like if you take A12 out, like it's 3-2, 1-1, like in terms of these differentials.
Oh yeah, I'm really anyone's division. At least I feel pretty confident that Black's probably going to be first or second seed when this season's done. And then it looks like a fight between Frandy and Zeke for those, you know, the other top positions, and a huge group of people.
Well.
Oh, absolutely. And there's still a huge group of people that could come and win this at any of the other spots. And I wouldn't discount Shark's ability to pull back his season either. I think he's got a better team now than he had for the first 3 games.
Yeah, it's just a long road to make up. Like,
oh, for sure. He's going to need to start winning with some good differential.
Yeah, but HJJ, like, just took over a team. I think he's only played 1 match.
So. 1 or 2 matches, yeah. And so the team had like an 0-3, 0-4 record to start the season. Really not on him. It's just a tough spot to be, and he's trying to push through it. We'll see if maybe some. I mean, it's very cluttered right now, so it's entirely possible a 4 and 5 team could sneak in, but he's just have to start winning pretty solid differentials in his matches to give himself an opportunity for that.
Alright, I turned it down a little bit. Music's popping. It's like the music from the game. I have Dialga and Palkia Origin Form. Going wild. Taking a look at the kill leaders here, look at that at top. Zoroark, Hisuian.
Unsurprising. He's feeding that thing KOs week after week. Any opportunity he has for that to claim a KO, he's let it have one. And it's not really affecting his record. He's still 4-1.
Listen,
so...
I can't even when I'm winning, I can't feed particular mons KOs. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, so his ability to feed KOs and continue to win games is quite impressive.
Some people are just able to do that, man. They're like able to feed particular mons KOs, and it happens at all skill levels. So it's not like one of those things where you're just playing people worse than you. And no, I've seen people like in like some of the top tours and stuff. They're like, this mon's gonna get the kills, and then it gets like 6, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We have, being cut off on the list, we got 2 other 7 KO mons between the Mega Scissor and Medicham. They just have more deaths. So,
yeah.
Like the Mega Medicham's getting kills, it's just also dying as one would expect from...
Oh, absolutely. Really, not, the top 10 isn't all that surprising. Like I said, Fighting and Dragons tend to dominate it.
Tangrowth is the biggest surprise. Diggersby,
oh, absolutely.
I'm not too surprised with because it can be run in a cleaner fashion, like with
especially with the way A12
Scarf,
drafted his team. He's really relying on Diggersby as like a breaking piece, and he's using it that way. And a cleaning piece.
Yeah, between Scarf and Quick Attack, it's totally fine to clean for you.
Oh, absolutely. So
dang
no surprises.
Dang huge power mons.
They do what they do, and that's usually smack for mega damage while holding a choice item.
Alright, so let's get back to the recap for the div that I'm pretty sure only Huiku watches. But we'll give nice context to all these matches. So first off, we have the Thunderers from Down Under as coached by Sparky going up against the Miami Delphox coached by Fac. So on Sparky's side, we have the Regieleki, the Zoroark, Dracovish, Corviknight, Primarina, and Rillaboom.
And then on Fac's side, we've got the Dragapult, the Hisuian Lilligant, which he continues to bring like week after week. He's really determined to make this mon shine.
I think it's done pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk why in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. The Landorus Therian, the Mega Pidgeot, the Melmetal, and the Blastoise round out the team.
So what stops Hisuian Lilligant, right? It's probably hustle misses, if I'm being honest.
Yes.
105 speed tier, some stupid high attack like 120 or something, 115 maybe. And it has Leaf Blade in close combat, so it's totally cool to do whatever it wants, especially with the boosts. I think he's banning it a lot of weeks too.
And a matchup like this, a ban makes total sense as well because it speed ties the Zoroark. No, and I mean Primarina isn't switching in on it realistically. So as long as you're hitting the attacks, Hisuian Lilligant basically gets a KO every time it sees the field.
Yeah, Corviknight because there's a switch in, but like the close combat just has to absolutely crush.
Yeah, it's a 2-hit KO for on max defense Corviknight. Absolutely is.
But like so nothing really switches in on Lilligant all that well. Like I remember when I played him, like I had a full defensive Gliscor and it switched in on the Leaf Blade and it was like 45%. And I was like, yikes, that's not good. Forced to like roost every turn. And here we see Fac's able to take it 3-0 with 7 KOs.
Yes.
That is incorrect. But
hey, there's a Zoroark in the field of play, which messes up with everything.
On the turn that Zoroark died, its illusion died, and Zoroark died, so it's counting it as dying
twice.
Or it's counting it as the mon getting 2 kills, and it only
like the original, the mon it was mimicking, and then the Zoroark itself.
It's just a weird little thing, and like this was a match where, Fac maybe watched your match and figured out the secret. Like if you want to beat Sparky, sorry for spilling the beans here. Can't play defense.
No,
go on the attack.
Straight offense.
Like
you just try to trade as much as possible, and hope you get yourself in a winning position late game. And Fac was able to.
Why even put yourself in a situation where you have to like 3, 4, 5 times guess, is this a Zoroark or not? No, just kill it. Just kill it.
You go as fast as possible and you keep attacking.
Maybe you get 5-0'd by Sparky, but that seems to be the thing. You just go all out, take the win. Or try.
I mean, both offensive games have been. I only lost to Sparky, I think 1-0 or 2-0, and then Fac only won 1-0. Every time someone's tried to play defense against Sparky, it's been bad. Like Sparky's just crushed those games. So playing offense has been the meal ticket. It's just a matter of executing, and obviously Fac did that better than me.
Got a little better of a team than running that.
Yeah, it's also a contributing factor. I can't deny it.
All right.
Speaking of trash,
spoil this match. It was a forfeit because Jack just he was a replacement coach that didn't schedule for in a row.
Yeah, unfortunate.
A bit of a weird champ from him, but whatever. All right,
I'll take my win. I'll get back to 2 and 3. Try to rescue my season.
Yeah, that's where I think a few of the mod staff is. Anywho,
everyone not named Sparky is trying to rescue their season.
So here we have another replacement coach, Fancify, coaching the West Virginia Wing Gulls, going up against the Republic City Firefirts, being coached by Claude9. Brought up on Fancify's side, we have the Volcanion, Mew, Udra, Thunderous Therian, Mega Swampert, and Pelipper. Rain team.
Yep. And then on Claude's side, we've got the Alolan Persian, the Tapu Fini, the Blissey, the Rotom Fan, and the Spectrier and the Scizor. What's super apparent here is that Spectrier pops. There's no switch ends for it. So every time Spectrier sees the field, I don't recall. I don't actually think it is, but I could be wrong about that. I feel like Piku has the Mega Scizor because Piku always has the Mega Scizor, but I could be wrong about that detail.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Nevertheless, Gudra's the only switch into Spectrier here, and I believe this is Spectrier, so Shadow Ball just pops.
Shadow Ball.
So if you can keep the Swampert in control, with the Fini and the Scizor, enough to create windows for the Spectrier to click buttons, then you just kind of win the differential trade-off game.
AV Gudra against the Spec. Hey, look, Spec gets kills. So it looks like
exactly what happened.
Claude's trading the game to just get everything low enough such that Spec can come in and just KO everything. I'm a little curious to see how it gets through the Swampert, but this probably isn't a 6-0 sweep all at once. It's I killed the Pelipper and we're gonna wait out Rain and then we're gonna get Spec back in.
I think that's what happened. You just used
like 100% positive that has to be what happened.
Yeah, and Fini walls out Swampert well enough, and then as long as you create momentum turns, because the other 4 mons all pivot. Persian has Parting Shot, Blissey has Teleport, Rotom has Volt Switch, Scizor has U-Turn. All of those create Spectrier entries. And then Swampert out of Rain, Pelipper in general, Thunderous in general, Mew in general, all have to flee the Spectrier Shadow Ball. So unsurprising that was the winning mon for this matchup.
Yeah. Alright, so coming up next we have the South Bend Snoms, coached by Wombat Baby. Going up against Dick and Balls, coached by Frosty. Let's see, on the Snom side, we have Toxtricity, Tornadus Therian, Grimmsnarl, Jirachi, Ursaluna, and Keldeo.
And then on Frosty's side, we've got the Crobat, the Kartana, the Obstagoon, the Megachomp, the Deoxys Speed, and the Silvally.
I'm just going to do the spoilers for this match. I'm just going to click it. I gotta fix the deaths for these mons. This is a good reminder, because this was a forfeit where it's a little bit of a back and forth. Then Megachomp gets in, and there was maybe a little bit of hacks, and then Chomp just like gets the SD.
Actually, I think an Icy Wind missed. Is that what happened?
Yeah. Icy Wind missed from the Keldeo, and like. I totally support when you're that tilted, just forfeit, then move on.
It was a
the
tough
Icy
one.
One missed, and then the 4-shot scale shot hits back, and it's like, great. This is the exact game I want to play. Yeah, you got nothing else. Because he's at over. +2. This one, everything just dies. So
yeah,
I respect the forfeit here, honestly.
Mega Chomp's a good sweeper, and that's why, because it just takes one, missed turn or one bad turn. In this case, it was just a missed icy wind, which is a 95% move. Pretty much safe to click. Really good at stopping Garchomp sweeps because you keep it from getting that speed boost. But that 5% can happen, and that's what happened here. So unfortunate loss for Wombat. A needed win for Frost Eye to keep himself alive. And I think that was his first win of the season, actually.
That was his first win, so that now
Yeah, so
means everyone is on the board.
we
So,
like to see that.
I like to see it. Hang on, I'm like live updating the Larry sheet right now, giving all these ones deaths, so things look a little more correct. Okay, we're back to it. Next we have Living Like Larry, coached by Phil, going up against Alberta Surge by Huku, but this is our featured match.
So we'll be back.
So skipping that, moving on, we have the Canberra Charizard, coached by Sammy, going up against the New Jersey Origin, coached by K-King. On Sammy's side, the Urshifu. We got Nidoqueen, Megalopony, Heatran, Zapdos, Delmise, and Enamorous Therian.
And then on K-King's side, we got the Mega Aggron, the Zeraora, the Urshifu Rapid Strike, Togekiss, the Latios, and the Donphan. I don't remember all the details of this match, but I'm like 90% sure Enamorous hit the free agent market after this match because it proved itself to be useless in that form. I could be wrong about the detail of it. I'm actually
that
checking on
sounds
that now.
right, or at least it hit the trade block. Hang on, I'm fixing Rapid Strike right now. It should RS. There we go. So yeah, let's take a look. Just it's still, Sammy was still able to win the match. I'm vaguely remembering some weird situation end game here with like the Togekiss and maybe the Urshifu, all trying to play it out. So you guys are gonna have to check it out. There was something weird going on at the end of this match where like it wasn't clear cut who was gonna win. Like Sammy was ahead, but it wasn't like a foregone conclusion type of deal.
It may have come down to Togekiss not getting a flinch on like a Nidoqueen or something like that. I can't remember how Togekiss went down because the Air Slashes were doing a lot of work. I know it got through the Delmise. I'm pretty sure it broke the Enamorous as well. Heatran got knocked down by something else. I really don't know how the Togekiss went down, but that was the crucial piece. Unsurprising to see Togekiss being the winner there. It had free entry to click moves every time it saw the field, and there wasn't really a switch in.
Right. Last and certainly maybe least, at least for half of this matchup, we have Flight Club going up against Columbus Gallade. Cats versus G. You want to introduce Cats?
I'll tell you what Cats brought. We got the Mega Diancie from Cats, as well as the Vaporeon, the Hisui and Braviary, the Mienshao, the IG Slash, and the Moltres.
And on the Columbus side, we have the Mega Gallade, Melodic, Ribombee, Rotom Heat, Gliscor, and Alolan Muck. And really, this match kind of came down to turn one. It was Mega Gallade up against Hisui and Braviary, and Hisui and Braviary goes for the Psychic as I switch into Muck, and that was really
enough.
That was enough for the Braviary never to break. Because I went full forehead, and I had some things like Toxic Orb, Hyper Cutter, Gliscor, because I didn't double check prep.
Oh, that's right, you did. Yeah, I remember that happened. You see that every now and again because that's not the starting ability for Gliscor, the Toxic Heal or whatever it is, and so it can be overlooked in prep, and it's always painful when it happens.
And also some fun things like Sub Gallade, but like Cats was ready for that in turn. Like, so Cats brought at weakness policy Aegislash, so like you get to proc the weakness policy, break sub, and Shadow Sneak does 8-1. So so it's a nice cool bring. Didn't see too much from the Vaporeon or Moltres. I don't remember what the Mega Diancie set was. Mega Deontay set was, I think, a full physical because I switched Melodic in and the Diamond Storms were doing 56% and I was mixed.
Yeah.
So that was neat. But I had specs for Bombi to, you know, check everything.
Which hit a helpful crit with the energy ball.
It was still a roll.
It was still a roll, but it turned what was a roll into a confirmed
guaranteed
KO.
Yeah, so it was a little extra luck.
The game was very RNG heavy because you had Glade behind a sub at one point, but you missed the Stone Edge on the Bolt Trace.
I talked with Cats, and it really doesn't change the pace of the game at all because Aegislash comes in and all the math's still the same at that point, except for Glade ends the game with either dead or 25% more HP. Like, because the +2 Aegislash with Shadow Sneak still does like 75% because it's super effective, and Glade doesn't really have physical defense, so it's still where it's at. But yeah, so Glade picks up 3 KOs, Rabambi gets on the board, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and you get to 2 and 3, getting that season back on track with a much needed win.
Still on life support. We're gonna pop over to our featured match here. This match is really cool. There we go. So this match between Huiku and Phil. Do you want to introduce your boy Huiku?
I will introduce what Huiku's got. He's got himself a Kyurem, a Gyapdos, a Tapu Koko, a Rotom Wash, a Bronzong, and then good old Nidoking.
And up against him, there's the Politoed, Arcanine, Kabutops, Seismitoad, Zygarde, and Tapu Lele. Just get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we see the Kyurem versus Lele lead. Nice little mind game, and switches out immediately to Arcanine for the Bronx.
Which tells you it's probably not Scarf Lele if it's not wanting to 1v1 the Kyurem. It doesn't think it has the speed.
But with the Bronzong too, it's a nice way to force the Bronzong in.
Oh, absolutely.
This Bronzong like hard walls it. Roar Arcanine's a good bring, especially if you suspect the setup Bronzong, because setup Bronzong's usually not getting through it.
A good Hydro Pump here by Huiku, just because Phil's actually been bringing Swift Swim Seismitoad a fair bit, so Hydro Pump, despite Seismitoad normally walling out, was still a worthwhile click just to see what you're dealing with.
Yeah, now you got some rain.
So I'm surprised he ran away from the. He blocked the Politoed, which is what I thought he wanted to block this whole time, and he runs away from that. I was a little surprised by that choice. Because I'm not sure what he's trying to get with the Bronzong right now. I can't tell what he's trying to trap. Good body press, especially with the Kabutops switch. Not really any switch into Kabutops. That thing just smacks for giga damage.
So trading like this seems pretty good because now that his Rain Sweeper is gone, now he has to sweep like the old-fashioned way. And all right, that's the rough part, is when the.
So if this was Coil Zygarde, that might have been game over. He's actually somewhat fortunate it's only Dragon Dance. And then I believe Huiku said this was a roll to die. It was like I don't know whose roll the favor was, or who won that roll. But Nidoking survives that. So he had double Shuka Berry for this Zygarde. Really critical to have that. Because he gets the Kyurem in.
I kind of wonder if he suspected double Shuka. I think
I don't know.
I think you're free to like just double dance there and win the game off of it.
So I'm really this game has not looked in Huiku's favor at all, basically. Since the beginning, it feels really dominated with the rain.
Yeah, now that the Bronzong's gone, like Lele's looking pretty good.
Yeah, this match is looking a little out of hand, for sure right now. Rotom's on a timer.
Nice toxic on the Rotom. In the Seismitoad.
Rotom has no ability to do anything because Seismitoad can kind of wall it out.
I can keep pain splitting. Let's see a liquidation or something. Stealth Rocks. It's a little passive.
Good timing with the Kyurem bring in to try to get some damage going. Arcanine's a pretty predictable switch in, so you could have good Earth Power there. But you've already revealed yourself as Scarf Kyurem, so you aren't in a good spot to do damage.
Yeah,
All in
and not another pain split coming up. Like, you just need to wait
Yeah.
out some of these turns. Because you don't really like, you've got the Lele, but it can always be a little scary to just bring in the Lele.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if it goes down, then you really don't have any offense, and like that's when, yeah, like you almost want to find a way to catch the Gyarados in like a Scarf close combat or something of that nature. But like you really should be trying to get in. I'm gonna hover over Arcanine real quick. It has teleport, so I don't know why it isn't worthwhile to just get in and teleport into the Lele, because then something's gonna die.
I think he's just content right now to can ensure Rock stay on the field so Kira meets that 25%. Earth Power there just because that's really his only click.
Fun Drain Punch, but you're still gonna die. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's Earth Power.
Not looking good. Kira can't leave the field because it dies off next switch in.
I think that this is where you wanted to bring in, like before
Lele.
Yeah, you wanted the Lele before it can take the Earth Power.
Oh, for sure. So this looks more or less open and closed, but then Endure to survive and proc the weakness policy. Also, for extra gross measures, the Moonblast procs Defiant, so he ends up with +3 or +4
you can't
attack.
make that up.
It was insane.
Oh my goodness. That's...
Yeah, so I mean, really,
this
what this came down to was him not bringing in. Actually, I don't know that it mattered because I'm pretty sure this Lele wasn't Scarf. I think it was Specs.
He was
So
always
I
gonna
think
endure. So
it was always going to endure, and then he doesn't need the speed. He just agility's there for, I guess because that was the play to make in case it was Scarf Lele. But I don't think it was because it ran from Kyurem on turn 1. So my guess was that it wasn't, but maybe I'm wrong on that. They may have talked it in post game. Either way,
well, I've got the show
really good
here.
set.
I'm gonna open it up. Lele is Scarf.
Oh, it is Scarf. So it did matter. Yeah, he made a mistake.
So the thing is, like, have you had Lele into the Bronzong matchup?
I have been the Bronzong in the Lele matchup.
Lele can't break it. That, like, hard stop. Unless, like,
not with Scarf.
Not with Scarf. You need maybe Spec Shadow Ball or some Calm Mind variant. So,
yeah.
Knowing that your Scarf, knowing Bronzong's coming in, just immediately switching out, I think is a totally normal play that doesn't rule out the fact that you're Scarf or anything.
No, I think that's very valid. Phil's usually pretty good with those kind of hard calls on what opponents are going to do and creating good winning scenarios there. Because I think you brought in the Arcanine or something like that that gets a free play in front of the Bronzong, so he made the most of that situation. But again, really good on Huiku to salvage that game with a really spicy set, and the only possible way he could have won that in the position he was in. So really good win to move him to 5-0 and the last undefeated team.
Yeah, speaking of, let's take a look at these standings here. Huiku's still the last remaining 5-0, followed very shortly behind by Thunders from Down Under Us and the Miami Delphox. And luckily, we have a few teams here chilling between 3 and 2. Wombat's diff, even despite being 3 and 2, just makes me laugh.
Oh, jeez. That's some diff. Holy moly.
Like, it's bad enough. I almost want to just, like, take a little quick double check to make sure everything's lining up. But what are you going to do? Everyone's got a win on the board now. We have 4 teams at 1 and 4, so they're not out of it, but the gap is starting to widen. Like you're also probably not winning the div either.
No, I think at this point it's between the top 3 teams for div. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't one of those 3 teams that got the bye.
I'd be shocked. As for KOs, we have the Garchomp at 11. Dragapult maybe at 9. Gotta check.
Okay.
One of the Mons has a kill that shouldn't off this last match.
Oh, that's right. I know what you're saying.
So Spectre is also at 10. So Republic City Firefurts are only getting kills on 2 Mons. Very cool.
But they're two really good sweepers. I mean, Garchomp sweeps and Spectre sweeps, and he keeps getting those situations for either of them to pick up a lot of KOs. So
I like seeing Melmetal with 9 KOs. That's pretty cool.
Melmetal's good at getting like Melmetal's not too different.
It picks
like,
up 1 or 2 KOs a game, I feel.
It's not something that usually has the. I mean, it's bulky, but it doesn't have the longevity to pick up 4 or 5 KOs or even 2 or 3. It's usually I need you to KO 1 thing, maybe 2 things in a match, and that's what it'll get you. So
Yeah.
we want it to be, number 5 on the leaderboard.
But everything else is stuff you normally see. Dracovish, if it's got a good support team, Megalop, Mega Garchomp, Mega Gallade, Mega Mile. Everything else just picks up KOs.
Fightings and dragons, those are usually the pieces that dominate, with a couple of others sprinkled in, like the Mawile, the
Rillaboom occasionally.
Yeah, Rillaboom can pluck KOs every now and again. But unsurprising what we're seeing dominate so far.
Yeah, so very cool, guys. That's all that we have for this week. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you all for watching. Got any last words you want to say?
No, we're up to week 6, which is the last week of any transactions. So if you have transactions to make sure you get them done this week.
Yeah, we'll make a post just as a reminder.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you next week. I'm Dr. Geo. With me is
P McGee.
And we'll see you next week.